Welcome to Pokey Mountains, a DIY corner. If I can make it, so can you. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at a table that I made for my mother using repurposed materials. You're going to see the photos and videos, and you'll see how exactly I did it. I'll give you some tips and tricks, point out some like public service announcement sort of things through it, and stick around to the end where you get to vote on what is the next project that we do. So let's go and have a look at this table that I built using all repurposed materials. You see, whenever you're sanding, the dust itself from the sanding goes into all the little holes, and then by wetting it you'll be able to see exactly, it'll pull out the dust basically, and you can see exactly what you need to still fill and what you need to fix. Like this here, anytime you have repurposed wood, you're going to have blemishes in the wood, you're going to have cracks and things like that, and there's ways to fix that, which I'll show you just now. But sanding it and then wetting a cloth and wiping it down will pick up all the dust and will allow you to see whatever imperfections you still got to sand down on or fill in. But it will also show you a decent idea of what it would look like if you were to varnish your wood. So let's have a look here. So here I've just taken a damp cloth to the legs quickly, and you can see that sort of golden color that's there. That's what it would look like roughly. Let me just wipe here again. That's what it would look like roughly if I took a sort of clear varnish coat to it compared to what it looks like without. So as I say, whenever you get wood that you're going to repurpose, you're going to find blemishes and cracks and things. Now this crack here goes all the way through the side and on the top there. Now this table's not going to be used for anything heavy. Okay, I'm actually leaning on it now. It's very, very strong. The table's not going to be used for anything heavy, so the easiest thing to do is to fill that crack and let the filling dry and then sand it down. Now again, as you guys know, we try to repurpose everything that we can. So how do we fill it without actually spending money on wood filler? Simply put, the sawdust that you actually get from sanding, if you can gather some of it up, and some coal glue, wood glue, you mix those together, and a little bit of glue to the sawdust, and it becomes wood filler, literally. And you can use that, you can push that into the hole, press it into the hole, let that dry for a couple of hours, and once that's dry you can re-sand over it where you filled it in, and you'll be good as new, sort of thing. Let's have a look what that looks like. And all you're going to do is you're going to use the wood glue and you're going to mix it up. Right. Right, so once you've got this basically like a homogeneous paste, as you can see here, and you need to work with it quite quickly because wood glue dries quite quickly. You're going to take it and you're going to actually start to apply it to the cracks. And you want it thin enough that you can squeeze some of it into the cracks, but not too thin that it just runs. Okay, so we're going to apply it all the way along the crack. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. It's what you're doing anyway. So you want it inside the crack all the way down. Hey, my gorgeous boy. Like that. And you're going to leave this to dry for a couple of hours while it fills the hole. And then once it's dry, let's just see, once it's dry you can then re-sand it down and your crack should be good. Now I'm going to apply this all the way down the back end and underneath as well. So the other thing you can do with this is, if you've got excess, you can fill holes where you put the screws, and then you can sand down there as well. Let's get some more in that little hole. You fill up each of these holes and then you won't have screw holes in the end either. Okay, so once that's done, you can see we've filled up the holes all the way around and underneath as well. Let's just see if we can get it to focus there. And we'll let that dry. And don't forget to take the time to give your doggies a little treat as well. Here you go. There we go. Peter. There we go, baby girl. Yes. Where's the other one? She gone inside? Okay, the other one's gone inside. Right, so now we're going to leave that to dry for a couple of hours. And once that's dry, or at least an hour, once that's dry, we will sand that down. And then we have basically our finished product. It's at that point when you're going to either stain it or varnish it or paint it, whatever the case might be. Originally she was going to paint it. She was going to paint, because she's got all these different floral colors in her room, so she was going to paint it to match. Going to at that point use primer. Quality primer will give you excellent results. It's very important. The most important part about any woodworking is the sanding, and the second thing is the treating. When you treat it, if you don't treat it properly, like when you're staining it or when you're painting it or something, if you don't do it properly, you're going to have a finished product that looks absolutely horrendous. So just make sure that you sand it well. Take a couple of hours to sand it. I've sanded this down for about 3 hours now. And then I'm going to sand again once this filler is dry. So make sure you sand well, and then make sure you treat it well, sort of thing. Yeah, so what it looks like now at the end, before it gets any form of treatment. And again, this was repurposed wood. Everything was repurposed. The legs came from a sort of hello. Hello. The legs came from a curtain, sort of skirting crochet thing. The top was a piece of wood that was once used for kids doing Play-Doh and stuff like that on. And then the kids got older and they stopped using it really. So we repurposed that. And then the two thin struts are birdcage wood, dowel sticks basically, which you can get anywhere dirt cheap, sort of thing. I picked those up because I was going to use those for the dice tower that I'm making for Dungeons & Dragons for our home games. I was going to make little fencing out of it, and I've still got more left over, so I'm still going to be doing that. But all of this, everything here is second-hand and repurposed from different bits and pieces from wherever. And as I was considering it second-hand, bits and pieces, you can make something really, really good out of it. There you guys go again. I'll show you the project when I'm sanding this top piece down. Now for a little PSA. Don't ever offcuts. These offcuts here are from different things. This is from the before, these two are from today. Never throw away offcuts because you can always find something for them. This was from a previous project that I was doing. Okay, as you can see, that was the dimensions of the wood originally. Now what I use this for is a clamping block. So I'll clamp this, put something against it so that I got it straight, and I can cut along the edge, for example. Take this, for example, here, straight off the top of my head, I can think of two things I can do with that. Number one, I can utilize, if I've got more of these, I can actually utilize this as a wall strut. And if I've got enough of them, I can put them along the wall, and I can put a sharp on top of that in a cupboard or something like that. So there's a wall strut, for example. The thing I can utilize this for is, let's say, for example, I cut it in half and I take the two pieces and I clamp it and glue it together. And then I make a small little cut along the two sides, just a little narrow cut. Then I can glue those together, clamp it up, and I can turn that into a sanding block. So I can actually put sandpaper in the one side, wrap it around underneath tight, put it into the other side, and then I've got a hand sanding block for if I'm trying to work with my hands instead of using one of the tools, for example. So never throw away your offcuts. They're going to come in handy somewhere, almost guaranteed. And I mean, worst case scenario, you're running out of firewood and you want to do a barbecue or a braai, you got nice dry wood. And then here is just a image showing you the different tools that I actually utilized in the project. This entire project could have been done by hand. So let's say, for example, you don't have a circular saw, you can actually do it by hand. I used the circular saw to cut one edge off of the big piece of wood in the beginning, which I could have easily done by hand, sort of thing. It just would have taken longer. But yeah, basically everything in this project can be done by hand. All you need to do is you need to have a way to drill, so either a hand drill or an electric drill or something like that. Otherwise you're gonna have to screw by hand, and it's a little bit more difficult to screw through one wood into another, especially things like legs, but it can be done. You need something to cut with, so a saw or a circular saw. You need wood glue, and you need your basic sort of tools that you would utilize for pretty much anything else. So this is what I actually utilized. And then just a little PSA: clean your tools when you're finished. Make sure you put them away where they belong. If you look after your tools, they're going to last you for a very long time. Some of these tools are almost as old as I am. So look after your tools and they'll look after you. Right, and now for the final message. Okay, so the next project that we're going to do, you guys get to vote on which you would like to see happen next. We've got 5 different projects that we're working on, and they are... Right, so this one over here, this is a box that I am turning into what's going to look like a sort of antique book / tomb. It's the perfect size to actually hold your Dungeons and Dragons books, so your player's handbook, your character cards and things like that, your Dungeon Master's Guide if you're the Dungeon Master. It will also hold your bags of dice, it will hold your figurine and everything like that. So that's this one over here. I have started it, as you can see, but I haven't had the time to finish it yet. The other projects that I'm working on is this one over here, for example, which is handcrafted masks that I'm busy making, you know, COVID style masks. So I'm going to make a couple of those. That's the second project. The third project I am busy working on is this over here, made out of an old container with clay, and this is going to become a dice tower for our Dungeons and Dragons games. Got to paint that up still, got to put flock on it, got to be making a ramp with a little picket fence sort of thing on either side, so that when you throw the dice in here, it hits all the pins on the inside and it randomizes your dice rolls. They come rolling out the door here and down the embankment. So it's a nice little dice roller for Dungeons and Dragons games and things like that. That's project number 3. Project number 4 is this baseball bat you see over here. This is going to be turned into Lucille from The Walking Dead. So I need to sand that down, I need to stain it. I need to make faux barbed wire out of twine, basically. Twine, wood glue, water. Make faux barbed wire, wrap it around, stain it, put blood marks, things like that. So That's project number 4. And then this board you see over here, this is just a sort of plexi board sort of thing, foam board that is going to be turned into a new blood bowl map, or should I say blood bowl pitch, utilizing obviously paints and things like that, and flocking, some stock, stones, things like that, to turn that into a new blood bowl pitch. And yeah, so that's project 1, the Dungeons & Dragons book. Project 2, handmade masks. Project 3, the dice tower. Project 4, Lucille. Project 5 is the blood bowl pitch. So I'm going to make a comment down below, and I'm going to pin it. If you guys can vote for what you want to see done next, on that comment particularly, and whichever vote it is that gets the most requests, that's the next DIY project that we will do. Right, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So we took some old wood that we had from lying around before. As you can see here, that's what we started off with, and in the end, with some work and several hours of TLC on the wood and looking after it and doing what we need to do, we managed to get ourselves a beautiful little table that my mother can now utilize to put stuff on. Drop your comments down below, vote for what project you want to see next, and if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot on YouTube with the YouTube algorithm. Drop your comments down below what you thought of this project. Did you enjoy seeing this video? Is this the sort of thing you do like seeing? Let me know. And if you want more videos on KOA or DIY projects or anything like that I do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so that you can know whenever I upload a new video. Until the next video, guys, be good, be well, and be safe. Bye.